Shalom, I'm Noam Semel, the Israeli Consul for Cultural Affairs in the United States, and this is our weekly cultural magazine. Our program will include today three main themes: the image of the Arab in the Israeli literature, a visit of Israeli entertainers and singers to the Soviet Union, a first visit for them and a first meeting for the Jewish community with the Israeli culture, and Soviet Jews in the Israeli theater. Our first guest will be ציפי Pines. She is the artistic and producing director of the Beersheba Municipal Theater. She is the only woman to run a major theater in Israel. She is very active in Israeli cultural life. She is a member of the National Council for the Arts, and she is a lecturer in the National Drama School, Beit Zvi, in Ramat Gan. Recently, she was appointed as a member of the Board of Trustees of the Beersheba University. Shalom, ציפי.
Shalom.
Soviet Jews or immigrants in the Israeli theater. You are very well known in Israel as a director who absorbed Russian Jews and Romanian Jews in the Israeli theater. What is the secret behind it? How can you make a Russian actress or an actor who came to Israel, doesn't know the language, to perform in Hebrew?
Well, you really should want very much to act. Otherwise, it's impossible because the language is so strange for them, and they, and you know, to act with a strange language, it's much more difficult than to just have a small talk in a language that you don't know.
Yeah.
But if you really want it, you can do it, and we have some very, very good examples, like a new immigrant, a Russian actress named Irina, who just, she came 5 months ago to Israel from Leningrad. She has done now in one woman show, woman show.
A monodrama.
Monodrama of monologues from Chekhov. And she, in Hebrew.
In Hebrew?
In Hebrew.
Did she know, did she know Hebrew before?
No.
Did she study Hebrew in Russia, in Leningrad?
No, in Israel. And she's wonderful and she has no accent. That's what's so marvelous. And she became, in one night, a star.
In Israel?
In Israel, a star. And she's now going to play the part of Nina in Chekhov.
Where?
In the Camera Theater.
I see.
Yeah.
But you absorbed many Romanian actors and Russian actors like Mark Hasman, who is one of the
most famous leading actors. When Mark Hasman came to my theater, he was about 50 years old, which is not an easy age to study to begin with. Yep. And he studied it by phonetics.
I see.
He didn't really he didn't understand what he's saying sometimes, but he studied it, and now what is very interesting is now with this big immigration, he tries to get back to Russia, to the Russian language.
I see.
And it's very difficult for him.
But maybe it's the reason that the absorption it's quite easy with the Russian Jews, because the Israeli theater, the Habima theater, began in Russia, and at the beginning of the State of Israel, all the actors spoke with a Russian accent. Is it the same story with immigrants that are coming, let's say, from South America, from Argentina?
No, that's a very interesting point, because it's much easier for the audience to have a Russian or Romanian accent than an American accent or a French accent.
On the stage?
On the stage.
I see.
And I can't explain why, but it's interesting. We can't stand an American accent in Hebrew, and it's okay. Maybe because it's a much more heavier accent, and you can't get rid of it.
I see.
So easily as from the Russian accent.
How many new immigrants are members or are participating in productions of the Beersheba Theater today?
Well, it's not only actors, it's also technicians, it's also wig makers, it's in many other professions around the theater. So we have got more than 15 new members from Russia.
From how many members or how many altogether consists the Beshiva Theater? How many?
65.
65. So
Yeah.
15 from 65 are
Yeah.
new immigrants
New,
from Russia.
yeah, that we...
Technicians and actors and
everything,
all together.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's
yeah.
20% or something like that. Are you getting a special subsidy for that from the government?
Not yet,
Not
unfortunately, no. But we're working on it very hard.
I see. You are very active in other fields. You're a lecturer in the Beit Zvi drama school in Ramat Gan, which is the national drama school of Israel. Do you meet some Russian students there?
There are some Russian students and 17 new teachers from Russia.
17
new teachers.
And they are teaching drama
teaching
in Russian
drama,
or in
acting,
Hebrew?
Some of them in English, some of them in Russia, some of them in Hebrew. 17 directors, designers, acting teacher, dancing, everything.
Unbelievable. Do you think they will elevate the level of the Israeli theater, or something will happen to the Israeli theater today?
I'm sure, because they're very professional and they're very eager to work, which is very important.
And to succeed.
And to succeed.
How is the Hebrew language? Is it easy for them to speak, or...?
It's awful.
It's awful.
Such a strange language, yeah.
And very old language. ציפי, let's go back. In my introduction, I mentioned that you are very active, and I said about your career, but I didn't mention you as a stage director. And recently you directed Driving Miss Daisy in Hebrew, in Israel, and you received the equivalent of the Tony Award in Israel for the best production of the year, 1990, in Israel. Driving Miss Daisy with Orna Porat and Gabi Amrani. How did you make it? What was the idea behind doing Driving Miss Daisy from America with a black guy and an old Jewish woman in Israel?
I can tell what it meant for me. It's a play about elderly people and about what's happened to you when you become a person of 70, 80 years old, and the friendship that can suddenly happen, the happiness of friendship. And that's what it meant to me, and it doesn't matter if it's a black guy or if it's a white guy or if it's as we took a Yemenite guy for it.
So what is this behind that decision? Because as if you are trying to describe or trying to introduce the gap between the levels in the Israeli society, between Yemenite and Ashkenazi?
No, we don't.
The decision was made on a pure professional basis?
Yeah, about a good play, good parts, and very emotional play in a way, and with a lot of humor, and it works.
Yeah, I want to show you something before we are going on, because 6 months ago, when Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait, Alfred Yuri, the playwright and the scriptwriter of Driving Miss Daisy, was here in our studio. That time, it was planned that he will go over to Israel for a special performance of Driving Miss Daisy. You asked me that time to invite him to go over to Israel. And he came to our studio a few days before his departure to Israel. After then, Saddam invaded Kuwait and he changed his mind and he didn't go to Israel. But I want to show you the interview that we made with him and the clip of Driving Miss Daisy as a film and of your production. Okay?
Okay.
Driving Miss Daisy, Alfred Yuri, the scriptwriter and the playwright. You're going to visit Israel next month.
Yes, you're
invited by the theater, the Beit Lessin Theater in Tel Aviv, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to be a guest, to speak in the Tel Aviv University, and to see the theater production that was done in Israel.
Yes.
What are your expectations from a theater production of Driving Miss Daisy that was written in Atlanta and is done in Hebrew?
My expectations are that it's going to be very different from the production that I've seen.
Yeah.
Other than that, I can't imagine them. That's why I'm going, because I want to see.
Okay, we have a surprise for you. We would like to show you a scene from the Israeli production of Driving Miss Daisy, as they call it in Israel, or in Hebrew, Miss Daisy.
I would love to
let's see
that.
it.
You ought to go on with me.
Hulk,
Yes.
put that azalea on Leo Bauer's grave.
All right. Leo Bauer. That Miss Rose Bauer's,
She asked me to bring it out here for her.
all right. Well, where is grave at, Miss Daisy?
I'm not exactly sure. I know it's 2 rows over that way. You'll see the headstone, Bauer. But what's the matter?
No, nothing at all.
אתה כבר תראה. כתוב באואר על המצבה.
איך זה נראה?
איך מה נראה?
הדבר הזה.
איזה דבר?
ההוא,
על מה אתה מדבר?
שום דבר.
מה קרה לך?
כלום.
אז תלך לאן שאמרתי לך ותשים את הפרחים.
אני לא יכול.
למה?
כי אני לא יודע לקרוא.
מה?
אני אומר שאני לא יודע לקרוא.
שטויות. כל אחד יודע לקרוא.
אני לא.
אז איך זה שאתה קורא עיתון כל הזמן?
אני לא קורא. אני רק מסתכל בתמונות וככה איכשהו מצליח להבין מה כתוב שם.
את האלף בית. אתה יודע?
א' ב'? ככה, בסדר. אבל אני לא יודע לקרוא.
אל תגיד שאתה לא יודע לקרוא, זה מעצבן אותי. אם אתה יודע את האלף בית, אתה יודע לקרוא. אתה רק לא יודע שאתה יודע. אני בזמני לימדתי כמה תלמידים כל כך מטומטמים, אפילו הם בסופו של דבר למדו מספיק כדי לקרוא שם על מצבה. השם הוא באואר. באואר. בא. בא. בא.
בא.
כמו איזה אות נשמע לך הבא הזה?
נשמע לי כמו ב'?
יפה. באואר. זה החלק השני. כמו איזה אות נשמע לך הזה?
או רש.
יפה. אז האות הראשונה היא
ב'
והאות האחרונה היא
רש.
באר. זה אפילו נשמע כמו באואר, לא?
זה כל הסיפור?
זה כל הסיפור. עכשיו תלך לאן שאמרתי לך. תחפש מצבה עם ב' בהתחלה ורש בסוף, וזה יהיה באואר.
ומה עם האמצע? לא אכפת לנו מהאמצע?
לא, בינתיים לא. זה מספיק כדי למצוא את המצבה. נו, לך כבר. ואל תחזור ותגיד שאתה לא יכול. אתה יכול.
כן, מיס דייזי.
You see, Alfred, this is Orna Porat, an Israeli actress, one of the first ladies of the Israeli theater. She converted to Judaism at the beginning of the 30s. She left Germany before the Second World War. And she is one of the founders of the Kamri Theater of Tel Aviv. And then she is the founder of the National Theater for Youth and Children. And she's a very, very good actress.
I can see that.
Yeah. This is Gabi Amrani, an Israeli comedian and a very famous actor, a Yemenite Jew. And you can see that they are using a conception that is taken from the Israeli society.
Well, it's wonderful.
ציפי, Driving Miss Daisy in Israel was a big success. How many performances did you perform with this production?
200.
200. Why did you stop this production?
Because of the war.
Because of the war. What happened to the Israeli theater during the time of the war? To the Be'er theater and the other theaters?
Well, the theater at the beginning, at least, the theater didn't work at all. In the evenings, we didn't work for more than 6 weeks, and it really all the work stopped there, which was a shock for us.
Yeah, it's the first time in the history of the Israeli theater.
First time in the history, because during the Israeli wars, the theater never stopped. The show must go on, and now because of the alarms, which was every night. Was no theater during the evenings, but later on we begin to do the theater through the days.
So you perform during day?
Yeah, but a very small amount of people, audience, because we couldn't hold more than 70 people at a performance.
So did you perform in Be'er for 70, 80 people?
Yeah, for small groups.
Yeah.
For some, for schools, we are allowed to play for 50 people. For 50
and with gas masks?
Yes, with gas masks, yeah.
I see. And the actors also with gas masks?
Yes, everybody.
Behind the stage? Or?
Behind the stage. And you know what happened? Once there was an alarm, and everybody, the actors and the audience, they put it on face.
On them. Unbelievable. And the show went on after that?
Of course.
Yeah? After the alarm was over? I see.
Of course.
The Be'er Theater is the only theater in the south of Israel, in the Negev.
Yeah.
From Tel Aviv, it's the only theater.
Yeah.
What does it mean, Be'er Theater? How many productions do you have now on stage? Can you tell me? And what are the productions?
Usually we produce 7 productions a year. We are a rep theater with an ensemble and about 10,000 subscribers, which is a lot for a city like Be'er, which has 120,000 population.
It's a lot. It's 10% from the population
Yes,
are
yes.
subscribers in a theater. This is a lot.
Yeah.
It's an achievement.
Imagine that in the first season we had only 180 subscribers.
When the theater
When
was
the theater, yeah,
opened.
18 years ago.
I see.
So it's a development.
How many of them are students from the Beshiva University?
600.
600
Yeah,
students.
not enough. 600. But next year we'll do better.
I
600,
see.
Yeah.
And can you tell me what are the plays that you have now on stage?
Much Ado About Nothing by
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare. Chekhov, Three Sisters. An Israeli new play called The Beloved by Hillel Mittelpunkt. Eichborn, relatively speaking.
A comedy.
A comedy. A children play The Princess and the Shepherd. We are working now on Mirandolina by Goldoni with a Hungarian director here.
I see.
And next production is As You Like It.
I see.
an
Do
opera by Shakespeare.
you think there will be a Russian Jewish immigrant as a director in the Beshiva Theater?
I'm sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Did you find some of them?
I find somebody, a wonderful director. Which
Yeah.
we have.
You'll give him a chance?
And the Russian playwright.
I see.
Her name, a very good one, really, which
Who
I
is
found.
it?
Her name,
Her name.
it's a lady, her name is Nina Veronel, and she wrote a very nice play which we are going to produce.
She wrote in Russian or in Hebrew?
In Russian.
In
And
Russian.
we translated it into Hebrew.
I see. It's a great idea. And what is it about? Is it about the experience of immigrants in Israel?
No.
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Okay. Do you feel in Beersheba the immigration? Do you see the immigrants in the streets? Do you see what's going on?
Well, yeah, because it's about 10,000 people that arrive to Beersheba, immigrants.
Yeah,
which
10%
is a lot,
from the
10%
population.
of the population. So you hear a lot of Russian streets.
I see.
And all over, even in the theater, when they don't know how to speak and to understand Hebrew, they come. What we are doing now is simultaneous translation into Russian.
Uh-huh. So you have simultaneous translation now in the Beshiva Theater.
All
So
over
a Russian
Israel.
Jewish immigrant can go to the theater, can be a subscriber, and every theater performance he can see with the simultaneous translation. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
ציפי, thank you very much for coming to our studio. We have with us a television documentary about Soviet Jews in Beersheba, in the Beersheba University, in the Beersheba Hospital, in the Beersheba Theater. So we'll watch it together, okay?
Thank you very much.
Soviet Jews in Beersheba, the capital of the Negev.
Ben-Gurion University of the Negev, bringing life to Israel's arid southern half.
My name is Ella. I'm from Ufa and I'm a medical student.
Helping Israel face its greatest challenge since independence.
I'm Ilya. I'm doing my doctorate in mathematics.
Helping Israel absorb hundreds of thousands, even millions of Soviet immigrants.
I'm Natalie. I am from Russia. I was born near Minsk. I came to Israel 5 months ago.
At the university, new immigrants are becoming part of Israeli life.
My name is Rita. I'm from Kishinev. I'm in Israel 9 months.
Students are reaching out to the newcomers.
I'm Miron Lando. I came from Moscow. I am a chemical engineer.
The university is expanding classrooms and dormitories.
I'm Olga Krupnikov from Riga, pediatrician.
Ben-Gurion University, welcoming Soviet immigrants home. The university is devising new ways to make absorption easier, like this mathematics course, taught in Russian. These students can carry on studying, and scholars, like Alexander Marcus, can teach, even before they master Hebrew. Ben-Gurion University pioneered retraining courses for Soviet doctors and nurses. Today, the University Soroka Hospital is the center for medical retraining.
After Ben-Gurion course, I will be able to pass the examination and to get license and to start practicing in Israel as a children doctor, as I used to do in Russia.
The Applied Research Institutes are helping scientists like Meron Landau get started in Israeli industry. His 20 years of experience in Russia in the petrochemical field are already being put to good use.
In all the chemical industry and the petroleum industry, his expertise is very much needed. I could say quite unequivocally that we have never had such an expert in Israel up to this point.
Struggling to find housing and jobs, Soviet students must also cope with a new language.
My professors, they help me very much, and if I don't understand something, they always repeated and I knew that they want to help me.
For years, Ilya Krupnik dreamed of coming to Israel.
I heard about Ben Gurion University in Russia because I knew it was where Professor Lifshitz taught. He is one of the greatest mathematicians in the world in the field that I am studying.
Ilya Krupnik is an example of the type of good graduate PhD students that we would like to have.
At the core of these absorption programs, learning Hebrew.
Sarah is more than a just teacher. She is a real friend. And people in the university are very open and everyone wants to help.
Through social and academic activities, staff and students are reaching out to the newcomers. New immigrants come to the Negev to live in freedom and dignity, to be among their own people.
I have only one son, and the son is most important in my life. But he became to come from the school with a black eye. His classmates called him a Jew, and I became afraid to leave for work, wondering what will happen with my son when I was gone. That's when we decided to leave to Israel, because we didn't believe that we have a future in Soviet Union.
In Russia, because I was Jewish, I knew that if I wanted to get anywhere, I would have to be 2 or 3 times better than non-Jewish.
When I was a child in Russia, people called me names. They called me Jit. It really made me feel bad. I used to be ashamed that I was Jewish.
The Jewish holiday of Sukkot. Rita and Ilya are invited by neighbors to visit a sukkah.
I have never seen a sukkah before. It was the first time in my life I had ever been in sukkah. It's good that I can learn about our Jewish customs.
On the anniversary of David Ben-Gurion's death, the State of Israel pays tribute. Rita and David Maharat, an Ethiopian immigrant, represent Ben-Gurion University, along with President Braverman.
Today we have the historic opportunity to follow on Ben-Gurion's vision and populate the Negev. The Negev is the right place for the new immigrants from the Soviet Union. Together with them, we shall make this desert a prosperous region.
Have helped us in Israel, and I think that we can help Israel by doing something in the Negev.
I hope that I will be able to apply my own ideas and to do something good for Israel industry.
Here in Israel, I can finally be part of the Jewish people. The Negev is our home now. And it's the people at the Ben-Gurion University who have done this for us.
Ben-Gurion University is rising to the challenge, but this is only the beginning.
My name is Anna.
Natalia Slobodkin.
Paul Kesha.
Zina Dachis. My name is Alla Serebrina.
My name is Eli Bezimensky.
Regina Karchmar. I'm from Ukraine.
I'm from Kiev. I'm from Belz.
I'm from Mogilov-Podolsky.
Alita Mibako. From Leningrad. I want to study medicine. I'd like to study chemistry or biology. Technology.
Computer. I want to study economics.
Geology.
I'm from Donetsk. I want to study Jewish history. אני רוצה ללמוד.
Our next guest is Amos Attingger, who is very well known in Israel as the TV host and producer of This Is Your Life for more than 20 years, 60 programs. The story of the state of Israel through these programs. He's very well known in Israel as a poet, as a TV producer, as a director of documentaries, and he's here in our studio on his visit in New York. Shalom, Amos.
Shalom, shalom.
I understand that you went to Russia, to the Soviet Union, with a group of Israeli singers and entertainers. Why?
They were sent by the JDC, by the Joint, to travel all over the Soviet Union in many cities, just to bring Israeli song and Israeli atmosphere to the people that never heard an Israeli song, even though we found people in the audience that know some songs.
How do you explain this, the idea that they can know, or they know to sing the songs?
They listen to the Israeli radio broadcast to the Soviet Union.
For how many years?
For many, many years.
Yeah?
This is one of our big achievements in the Israeli radio. And we found people join us singing with the singers, you know, with us, sitting in the audience, and I mean the welcome, the reception of these people that immediately you will see in the movie, in the little documentary which...
What was the language that you conversed with the Russians? You came with the Hebrew language, you don't know other languages?
First of all, we have a translator. But you know, above the language, that was a bridge. People that even didn't understand the language, we felt that they feel and they understand the words, even they didn't understand the language. I mean, it was kind of bridge, those songs.
That we grew up with them.
Yes.
Okay, so let's see a clip from the documentary that you did. For the Israeli television you did it, or for...
No, we did it for the JDC, for the Joint Distribution Committee, and I believe it was shown in many places in Israel and around the world. And this is a clip of Israelis coming to Moscow. Of course, all the background is Israeli songs, but the subject, they are the Israelis in the Soviet Union first time. In many cities, it's the first time that an Israeli artist came.
Okay, let's see the first scene.
Many shots, I mean, we took in the concert in Moscow, in Leningrad, in many places, but many shots also we took in the streets. We took the artists to the streets in the background of the Odessa Opera or many other places, and they started to sing Israeli songs, and it was many surprises from people, seeing them singing Israeli songs. Some of the people that the crowd in the street, you know, discover that we are Israelis and bringing Israeli songs, like Hanan Yovel singing in Odessa, which is a magnificent
So we are going
town.
to see now a clip from this documentary. Hanan Yovel is singing, and then we will listen to some Yiddish songs.
Yes, I mean we sang
Israelis sing in Yiddish.
Yes,
and the audience are some Russian Jews.
Oh,
or
yes.
some non-Russian Jews.
You'll see it in a minute. You'll see
Okay.
it in a minute.
Okay.
You know, we're surprised to see in the streets of Odessa Jewish klezmers. Then we discovered that they're doing a Jewish story, and no one from the actors is Jewish. Most of the Jewish actors immigrate to Israel, and as Hanan mentioned in Hebrew, and I'm doing it in English, they are all Russian actors, but the story still Jewish and bring a Jewish atmosphere back to Russia. Then we moved to a Jewish quarter. What remained? You know, the little fences, the little windows. Of course, there are no Jewish people living here, but the atmosphere is remained, and the song in Yiddish by Hanan Yovel.
A Jewish courtyard.
Beide Negidim ist kol matamim a gut bissel Kompott, aber bei uns Kapzonim, oi Dalfonim, oi Evionim, oi Dalfonim, ist kol matamim a Stück gehackte Zores Nebe. Lamer alle singen, Semel, לחם מתבוית ונבשר ודוגים וכל המטעמים. לאמר על הזינגן, לאמר על הזינגן הזמר, לחם מתבוית ונבשר ודוגים וכל מטעמים.
התרבות היהודית הייתה...
You know, one of the things which excite us and excite every Israeli which came to Moscow is to see the lines near the Israeli embassy and people asking, begging to get a visa to Israel. So in our film, we try to combine an Israeli song called Bashana Haba, next year that will be better in Israel or wherever, and we show through this song all the process of immigration to Israel, from getting the visa at the Israeli consulate, which was the embassy before, and we hope that soon it will be another, again, Israeli embassy, packing and leaving for Israel. So let's see all the singers, all the group of 7 singers singing Bashana.
Together with the audience.
Yeah, Bashana Haba.
Amos, what was the main question that they asked you, the Russian Jews, about Israel?
Be observed in Israel, getting a job, getting a place to live, getting the boys, young boys, girlfriends or boyfriends, you know, all the questions which we don't have answered. We know we're living in a very hard time.
In an historical moment, for them and for us.
And for us. But one thing I have to tell you. Let's say, when the country was established, in 2 years, we observed about 800,000 people. So, as I used to say, we don't believe in miracles, we trust them.
Okay.
So it will be another miracle.
We'll see. In a few years from now, we'll see. But You didn't answer me the question that I asked you in the beginning of our interview, why you are here in New York.
Oh, the reason I came is actually to publish my book, which I wrote in Israel, called Blind Jump.
This is the book that I hold it in,
yes.
In the Hebrew version.
Yes, the Hebrew version.
About Shaikedan.
About Shaikedan. It's a unique story about an Israeli paratrooper jumping during the Second World War as a British officer beyond the German lines, of course with a mission sent by the British to get information, but his main goal is to save Jewish people. Till now, this guy was unknown in Israel till the book came out. So when I wrote the book with the introduction of the Prime Minister, and many people appreciate his work, which was secret till these days, till the book came out. Now the book was translated to English, and it will come soon by Cornwall University Press and Herzl Press, I believe in 4 months.
In 4 months it will be published here in America, so the Americans will be able to read and to understand
to
what
know
had
the
happened.
Story. And actually it's linked to immigration. We talked about this film which we just saw. It's about immigration today, but till these days, I mean before the wall fell
Immigration
down.
that began in Second World War, or even before the war.
So this guy I wrote about in his biography, actually, he was the main person that brought Jewish people from Eastern European countries, communist countries, to Israel by clandestine, I mean by secret ways, by all kind of negotiations.
You brought with you a documentary about Shaikedan, the hero Shaikedan, and the story of Shaikedan, and I understand as a TV producer and director, you did also This Is Your Life with Shaikedan in Israel.
First of all, when you say This Is Your Life, it's not like the American game, This Is Your Life here, because our program is 3 hours on air on each person. So you can understand it's not like the gimmick of meeting each other, but it's a piece of history in 3 hours. So when you mention 60 programs, in 20 years, it's a big research. It's 4 months research on each person.
Can you name some of the celebrities, the personalities that you did This Is Your Life, or Such Is Your Life?
Let's start Golda Meir and Ezra Weizmann and Yochai Ben-Nun, the commander of the Navy, and Chaim Guri, the authors, and so many names.
The story of the Jewish people and the story of Israel. Okay, so let's see a scene from the...
the scene is from the ceremony, which when the book came in Israel, at the museum, the Diaspora House in Tel Aviv, it was a big celebration with celebrities for Shaikedan and for the book when it came in Hebrew. I hope it will be the same when the English version will come out.
Okay, let's see, maybe it will be in the Metropolitan Museum, but the Diaspora Museum, Beit HaTfutzot in Tel Aviv University, a special event honoring Shaikedan.
Recently in the mountains of Jerusalem, there was a reunion of Israeli volunteers who had parachuted behind enemy lines in World War II. They came for a tree planting ceremony in the forest honoring Eretz Israel's paratrooper emissaries, the Shlichim. British Army intelligence, MI9, allowed 26 Jewish paratroopers to make the jump. Their mission? To make contact with Allied officers and pilots captured by the Germans and to find ways to free them. At the same time, they were to try to save as many Jews as possible by smuggling them out of German-occupied countries. In this dangerous mission, some of the paratroopers were themselves taken captive. 7 of them were executed by the Germans, including 2 women members of the group, Hannah Senesh and Chaviva Reich. Among those who survived are kibbutz members and others who later reached prominent positions in the Israeli government. Only the name of one of the paratroop volunteers had remained anonymous over the years, Yeshayahu Dan, nicknamed Shaike. Those who knew Shaikedan then, and those who met him since the World War II parachute jump behind enemy lines, know that for more than 40 years, he has continued to work for the same goal, to rescue Jewish people from Iron Curtain countries. Only a short while ago, after being pressured by friends and family, and by such people as Prime Minister Shimon Peres, Assistant Director General of the Defense Ministry Chaim Israeli, and Commander of the Aliyah Bet illegal ships Yossi Harel, the Shaike Dan finally agreed to tell about some of his extraordinary exploits. These were recorded in the book Blind Jump, written by Amos Attinger. The book's debut was practically a national event celebrated at Beit HaTfutzot, the Jewish Diaspora Museum in Tel Aviv. His family, friends, representatives of the Joint Distribution Committee, Aliyah Bet operatives, government ministers, Knesset members, and Israel Army generals all gathered to honor Shaike on the book's publication. Among those who were there was a young man who was Shaike's World War II contact in the Romanian underground, Mr. Yitzhak Artzi, today a member of Israel's Knesset.
Since not all the 600,000 and more of Shaike's illegal immigrants could be here tonight, I, as one of them, take upon myself the honor and the privilege of thanking you in their name. Throughout the 40 years of your activities in the service of Aliyah, you recruited tens and hundreds of thousands of people, all of whom owe their gratitude to you, their commander without insignia, their soldier without uniform. In your book, you take satisfaction in the fact that you have a wealth of friends. To their number will now be added tens of thousands more, readers of your book who never knew until now to whom they owe their Aliyah to Israel. There are very few people like you, Shaike, to whom so many owe their thanks and their esteem. Now those who never knew until now will at last learn who it was that pulled the strings, how the amazing activities were carried out, why the gates were closed and how they were opened, and especially who it was that opened them. 1 out of every 7 Jews in the state of Israel salutes you, because in one way or another, your work made it possible for them to be living today here in Israel, and not in Romania, Bulgaria, Hungary, Yugoslavia, or the Soviet Union. The love of these people is the honor history has granted you for your jump missions to the very focal points of suffering to bring these Jews hope in our generation. For this reason, your colleagues, leaders of our government, and your many friends have come here this evening to express to you their esteem and great appreciation.
All his life, Shaike Dan has been trained well for secret missions. Both during and after the war, his picture appeared on numerous passports under various assumed names. He always had to be ready for anything so that nothing could take him by surprise. But he was not ready for the surprise Israel television gave him by honoring him on its Such Is Life program, the Israeli version of This Is Your Life. Coincidentally, the producer and moderator of this program is also the author of Blind Jump, Amos Attinger.
אתה חושב שאני רואה משהו? אני מתאר לי שמישהו ידליק את האור עכשיו.
עכשיו אני רואה.
Why is it so quiet? Is everybody nervous?
אני בטוח שכל אלה
Oh, there's Avram from New York. Did Reagan send me his regards? Without even looking, I'm sure that everybody here has either worked with me in the past, is working with me now, or will be working with me soon. And friends and acquaintances, and there have been many over the years. I'm glad to see them all, though I don't know what made them come. That I really don't understand.
Shaike was once asked by Prime Minister Golda Meir why he usually preferred to work alone in the field.
I said to her, listen, a lot of times the things I do don't work out and I fail. Now, as long as I'm working alone, nobody knows about the failures. And when I do succeed, people hear about it anyway. So it's smart for me to work alone. Maybe it doesn't sound like it, but I'm really serious.
Yitzhak Nabon.
Amos, this is your life in Israel with Shaike Dan, for example. How long do you prepare yourself for such a program?
It's about 3-4 months research in Israel, all over Israel, and sometimes around the world. Because we used to bring 1 or 2 or 3 guests from abroad special to the program, not only to surprise the person, but to bring a good story.
Yeah.
Like for Shai Kedan, for example, we just got a little clue from, a little from his achievement during about 40 years. But one of the topics in special that program, This Is Your Life, about Shai Kedan, I found the British commander of MI6, which was he was in charge of escaping prisoners from beyond the German lines, and he sent Israeli paratroopers to find them. That was the British mission for the Israelis, let's call it that time Palestinians.
Yeah.
And I found this commander by chance in Cyprus, and I brought him to the program to Israel, and you can see...
He's a British citizen now.
Oh, he's a British citizen, in pension, retired, living in Cyprus, but came special to the program in Israel. And he actually discovered a new story that nobody knew, that those paratroopers saved 1,000 American and British pilots in Romania, I mean Shai Kedan and his friend, when they jumped, and they found them. Nobody knew before
about these pilots. Okay, let's see.
The MI9 Escape and Evasion Paratroop Unit commander in Cairo is at that time Colonel Tony Simmons, today retired and living in Cyprus. He was brought to Israel especially for our program to once again meet Shaike, who served under him during World War II.
He's a crazy guy. This guy coming all this way for me.
That is Barbara. Unfortunately, Barbara's in Hollywood. In Hollywood?
Please here, Tony. No.
All right.
Colonel Tony Simmons was one of the few officers in British Mandatory Palestine who were in favor of Jewish independence. There were 2 especially good reasons for this. One of them was living in Jerusalem, the other living in Haifa.
The point is, I want to say now that any Jew is a double hero, because my British agents, if they dropped into enemy territory, they got shot as a spy. But a Jew who ran a double risk. First of all, he got shot as a spy, and then missed the first time, he got shot as a Jew. So he ran a double risk, therefore he's doubly brave.
How did the British administration treat this idea, I mean, to use Jewish guys?
The army headquarters in Cairo didn't want to know. We were a top-secret organization, they left us alone. But the Palestine administration, the Palestine police, were a bloody nuisance. We were opposed at every conceivable turn. So I had to keep everything secret from the Palestine police. They were anti-Jewish, and they wouldn't help me at all. You wouldn't even know they thought the war was the same side.
During training, no mention is made at first of a parachute mission.
After several discussions, it became clear that there were 3 different ways of doing it. One was to cross the border with fake passports into Bulgaria, where the Gestapo was stationed. The second, and listen to this one, I couldn't believe it, was to sail us in a submarine to within 8 miles of Constanza. Can you imagine me swimming the last 8 miles to shore? That was the second. The third way was by parachute jump. Exactly where and when, we found out later.
Did you think that they have a chance to survive? I mean, this...
I think they most have around about a 10% chance of surviving. They're very, very brave people. The people here are very brave. As I told you, they're double heroes. But the thing that I want to emphasize as an English officer, those Jews dropping back into enemy country, not only were helping the Allies, but they were demonstrating to the Jews in German-occupied territory that the Jews of Palestine had not forgotten them, and they were going to help them. That did more for morale, to know that there were Palestinian Jews dropping back into enemy-occupied territory to help Jews there. I think that did more for morale than almost anything else. I want to emphasize that. They brought back valuable information, a great deal. They brought back rescued a lot of British prisoners of war. That chap over there, this chap there, rescued about 1,000 American pilots between them in Yugoslavia and Romania. And I had the most enormous battle to get 4 aeroplanes out of the American Air Force. We meant to fly out of 1,000 pilots, which is quite a thing. And these people are responsible for it, so don't think that they didn't do anything. They did a great deal.
Amos, what was the response to this program? Because we know this is your life in Israel, in the Israeli national television. I believe that 80–90% of the population are watching it. And as it was said in the program, 15 or 20% of the immigrants that came to Israel during the last 50 years came through Shai Kedan or with his support.
So you want from me a compliment about my program?
No, I want from you a compliment about Shai Kedan.
So, no, I have to emphasize the letters he got. People realized, people didn't know how they came to Israel, because all these years he worked in a secret way, you know, with special contacts with the people there. He was a good friend of Tito and Ceausescu. He knew Ceausescu and what will be his end. But anyway, he worked with them in all the way just to save Jewish people. And that's, of course, not by himself. People helped him, but he's a lonely wolf, you know. And people start to write to him, Shaike, we didn't know that you organized this ship, and we came in that ship to Israel, and you organized this flight, and we came by that flight to Israel. So it was more than warm, and
it was a discovery for many, many Jews who live in Israel today. I mentioned at the beginning of our interview that you are also a poet. We grew up, when I was a young adult, on your collection of poems called A Quarter Before the War, A Quarter After the War, and I have here in my hands another collection of poems that you published in Israel. What is your next project as a writer?
About the poems, I mean, I'm quite known in the American Jewish people by the song Sharm HaSheikh, and I can see my friend running around beyond the glass. He is the first one who sang this song, and Lach Yerushalayim. But the next project is really the book I just wrote, and it's called Artziat Bocha Vetzocheket. How it says, My Country Laughing Between Tears. It's a story about an Israeli colonel, actually about 3 generations. About his father, that was one of the people that smuggled arms to Israel before the country was established. He was his father was the main person in this operation. About the colonel called Ze'ev Shacham, or Zonik, which is a unique person. I just can't describe his personality. You have to read the book. And about his son, who killed in Yom Kippur War as a Armed Forces man, commander. And the people, especially the people in America, fall in love in this person called Zonik. And the community in Philadelphia and Miami want to know his story. And they actually finance the book. And the book also will come soon in English. Just now
who will be the publisher?
I don't know now.
Yeah, you're looking for a publisher now.
Oh, I'm not looking for a publisher. I believe we'll find one. But, I mean, the book came because of the needs and the wants of the people in Philadelphia and Miami, and I believe in New York. It's just another angle of the life in Israel in the last 40 or 50 years by the story of Zonik. And this is another big project that it will become soon in the United States.
Will you do a special television show about him? Like this
I don't know. No. I don't know.
Now. Who are your next guests in This Is Your Life?
I can't tell you.
What kind of people?
All kind of people. It's going from politicians to actors to rabbis to singers, sportsmen. I mean, it's a variety of...
Is it possible that somebody who is not Israeli but is very well connected to the society in Israel, to the achievements of the State of Israel, will be a guest in your show?
Not the main guest, because the program is in Hebrew. So,
yeah. But if somebody speaks Hebrew, there are some people.
Afraid not for 3 hours. You know, you need a story that links to Israel, to the story of Israel, and to many people that they can find part of their life in the life of the main person, the main guest in our program. So you can't just bring someone.
I see. Okay, so you're not going to tell us who will be your next guest.
I hope not.
But
I hope you'll not discover it.
Yeah, but we can guess because of the book or because of...
No, nothing but the book. Nothing but
Okay, Amos, thank you very much for coming to our studio. I think you told us the story not only about your guests, but about the immigration to Israel during the last 50 years.
Thank you, Noam.
Our special weekly magazine came to an end. Thank you very much and shalom.